ISKCON Spoken Church, Prabhupada Ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki, Shri Radha Radhanath Ki, Shri Giri Govardhan Ki, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki, Sankirtan Yagya Ki, Gauranga. All glories to this noble devotees. All glories to this noble devotees. All glories to this noble devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 18. Prithu Maharaj notes the 11th planet, verse 11. That's correct. Verse 11, okay, good. So verse 11. Sabam cha kuru ma raja devarishta yata paya aparta api vajra te upavarteta me vibho sabam chakrama raja devarishtam yatapaya apartava vipashrante upavarte tame vibo sabam chakrama raja devarishtam yatapaya apartava vipashrante upavarte tame vibo sabam chakrama raja devarishtam yatapaya apartava vipashrante upavarte tame vibo Equally therefore, cha also, kuru make, ma me, Raja, O King, Devrishta, fallen as rain by the mercy of King Indra. Yata, so that Paya, water, Aparta, when the rainy season has ceased, Api, even, Bhadra, auspiciousness, Te, unto you, Upavarteta, it can remain, may, on me, Vipo, O Lord. My dear King, may I inform you that you have to make the entire surface of the globe level. This will help me even when the rainy season has ceased. Rainfall comes by the mercy of King Indra. Rainfall will remain on the surface of the globe, always keeping the earth moistened, and thus it will be auspicious for all kinds of production. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. King Indra of the heavenly planets is in charge of throwing thunderbolts and giving rainfall. Generally, thunderbolts are thrown on the tops of hills in order to break them to pieces. As the pieces are spread asunder in due course of time, the surface of the globe gradually becomes fit for agriculture. Level land is especially conducive to the production of grain. Thus, the planet Earth requested Maharaj Prithu to level the surface of the earth, breaking up the highland and mountains. Samajikuru Maharaja Devarishwamita Apartavapi Bhadrate Upavarteta Mevivo. My dear King, may I inform you that you have to make the entire surface of the globe level. This will help me, even when the rainy season has ceased. Rainfall comes by the mercy of King Indra. Rainfall will remain on the surface of the globe, always keeping the earth moistened, and thus it will be auspicious for all kinds of production. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Utale Srimad Bhagavatam Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaura Kachane Devashesha Shukravani Vasudhara Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vajkaptra Vistrakam Siddhupeja Panitam Padadebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Yes, so it's a little, well, the purport is very unusual, you could say, very short and unusual subject matter. The way Srila Prabhupada puts it is that Lord Indra throws thunderbolts generally on the tops of hills in order to break them to pieces and in this way level out the planet. Yes. Elsewhere, Srila Prabhupada describes, I forget exactly where, maybe in 6th chapter, but anyway, elsewhere, Prabhupada explains that in the distant past, there were mountains which could, they're people, they could talk, and they could do all sorts of things like that, and they could fly mountains. And unfortunately, some of these flying mountains became aggressive. And of course, a mountain is big. And they would fly around, and sometimes they would deliberately crash on top of some place like a village or something of that sort, and destroy everything and kill the people. And this, of course, this is not very nice at all. It's very bad. So therefore, King Indra would, as Prabhupada says here, come and throw thunderbolts on the tops of hills. And what he would do, as Prabhupada describes it elsewhere, is he would basically decapitate those flying mountains, say, cut off the top, and then the mountains would just stay there and just be there. Yeah. This was a punishment for them harassing the people. And in principle, the same idea is here, that he would come and smash up the tops of hills, to flatten them, to flatten the areas so that the agriculture could go on more easily. And important point, so that the rainfall, as Shukadeva goes, no, it's Mother Earth, right? It's saying that the rainfall will remain there, and not just if there's hills and mountains, the rainfall will just run down the sides and run away. That's not so useful. But if the rainfall will remain on the surface of the globe, always keeping the earth moistened, then that will be very useful, auspicious, and just very practical for all kinds of production. Because wherever there's rain, generally things grow. Out in what sort of, I don't know about maybe in Namibia, but the far northwestern Cape Province, there are areas which are more or less like desert, or at least extremely dry, and just to a large degree devoid of vegetation. But then at certain times, there are heavy rainfalls there, and suddenly the whole area becomes luxuriant with different types of flowers. And people go and photograph it because it's extremely picturesque. What's that area called? Anyway, it's an area that's, sort of mildly famous. And people come even from overseas to photograph the flowers. Get all these, I don't know if you've ever seen sort of Free State and Gauteng area, how sometimes, what do they call them? What are those flowers? The pink and white and kind of purpley ones. Proteus. What are they called? They're famous. So famous I can't remember their name. Huh? What'd you say? No, I see. No, that's something else. They're nice too. But these flowers, anyway, sometimes you see these fields. It's illegal to cut them in South Africa. They grow in India also, to some degree, but it's illegal to cut them anyway. Sometimes you see these whole fields just full of these flowers, mainly pink, but also some white and some kind of, what I don't know, maroony or purplish. What are they called? I should know. We should all know. General knowledge of South Africa. Petunias. Anyway, it's okay. It's not good. It's not dangerous too far. But it's because of rainfall. But out of that part of the Northwest Cape, it's quite famous. It's just dry, it's not like a sand desert. There's just like a rocky sort of highly, very unproductive area. But then every now and then it really rains heavily. And all these flowers come up and it's just ablaze with flowers. And like I said, people come even from overseas to photograph them. So anyway, flowers, of course, it's nice to have flowers. But the main point is rain, water, is so essential for life. Or it's just essential, just plain essential for life. And it has amazing effects. But you've got to catch it. Otherwise, if it rains on a hill, or like here, it rains and it just runs off to the sides. And it's not really very useful. But Mother Earth here is saying, making the point that by the arrangement ultimately of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all this rainfall which comes, if it rains on flat, level areas, then it doesn't just run away and just sort of become wasted, you could say, in the sense of productivity. But it sits there and things grow. And in this particular case, agricultural produce grows. Grains grow and vegetables and so on and so forth grow. And these, when there is abundant production of these useful types of plants, then humanity, there's so much, no shortage for human beings. And there's plenty for the animals too. Yes. So this is the idea here that Maharaj Pritam should take some action to make the planet flat or flatter at least. Doesn't really, I mean, he's not like Lord Indra, he can't go with thunderbolts and knock the tops of mountains to make things flat. But anyway, he should do something to level out ground as much as possible. Yeah, and you see in some areas, in parts of America, in parts of this country, in parts of this country, if you've driven around a bit, you see, some areas are really quite flat. Prabhupada, I don't know if I've seen it written, but I've definitely heard it said, that Srila Prabhupada was being driven once in sort of central United States or something of that sort, someplace like that. And there were, we have them also in the Free State. When you're driving, if you drive up to Johannesburg, sort of from Harrismith or around there and going a bit north, you get these mountains, but the tops are being cut off. I'm sure you must have seen them. They got flat tops. Srila Prabhupada reportedly was being driven through such an America in the such an area in the United States. And reportedly Prabhupada commented, seeing one of these mountains with this flat top, Prabhupada commented reportedly, as I've repeatedly said, Shri Kiri Govardhan Shri Radharatna Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah, so reportedly, Srila Prabhupada said that these mountains, or this mountain, used to fly. So Lord Indra cut off its top and including its wings because it was like a rogue mountain. These were rogue mountains, and they would do, as we said, crash on top of people, on top of settlements. So, reportedly, Srila Prabhupada said that. And certainly here, literally, Prabhupada does say that thunderbolts, Lord Indra throws thunderbolts on the tops of hills to bring them to pieces. And then in this way, the planet becomes leveled out and suitable for agriculture. This might sound a little, extraordinary to us. Or we can imagine just your average person, not a Hindu, even a Hindu maybe, but certainly, other groups of people coming in and hearing about things like this. Mountains having their heads cut off by someone with his thunderbolts. And they were to really question what's going on here. But as devotees, we should accept this. I mean, when I first read that, I accepted it. I didn't really think, what is this? I would say, accepted it. Have you accepted it? No, you've heard it. Sort of, all of this. But life, well, that's one of the qualifications of a devotee, that the devotee is able to accept these things coming from authorities. There's a very interesting part of Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela. Maybe it's I think that's chapter 7. That's Lord Chaitanya meets Prakashananda Saraswati, isn't it? Adi Leela 7. I think so anyway, it's in that part, where Lord Chaitanya points out to Prakashananda Saraswati himself that you people, and you personally, the philosophical foundations of what you accept as reality in impersonalism, this is all based on what Vyasadeva said. It's all based on that. That's the foundation for sure. And Lord Chaitanya says that. But then, what you people do, you go through those things, all of which Vyasadeva has said, but you reject certain parts, and you accept other parts. Particularly, you reject parts which are like quite openly personal, talking about the absolute truth as being a person. You reject all that because you are impersonalists. You are focused on the impersonal. So you reject all those things coming from Vyasadeva, and you accept all those things which are presenting impersonal viewpoints. So what does that mean? Well, what it means, basically, is that you become the authority. Vyasadeva is no longer the authority, and you people, you are now the authorities on what is reality, what is life. Yes. So, that's an extremely important point. Just picking and choosing from what Vyasadeva has said, picking and choosing and rejecting. Definitely rejecting certain, quite a bit actually, of what Vyasadeva has said. So, therefore, it's the truth. Whatever you are saying is the truth, is what you accept and you're presenting. Not really what Vyasadeva is presenting, it's what you're presenting. It's a very interesting point. And even it happens in some Vaishnava circles, like Madhvacharya, who's actually in our line, basically. He has rejected certain parts of Srimad Bhagavatam. He's rejected, like, I think Krishna stealing the cowherd boys, Lord Brahma stealing the cowherd boys and calves, doesn't really accept that. In their versions of Srimad Bhagavatam, that chapter is removed because Brahma is the head of our sampradaya. So how can we accept that the head of our sampradaya does something, which is like anti-Krishna? It couldn't be, at least they think. But of course, for us, our philosophy is a Chichudait Abe Tattva. Simultaneous oneness and difference, or really simultaneous difference and oneness. Achitya Bade means difference, and Abade means difference, non-difference. So, that's our philosophy. So, therefore, we can accept if Krishna does something which, or Lord Brahma, the head of our sampradaya, or Krishna for that matter, does something which appears not to agree with our understandings of what's right and wrong, or what could be true, what would not be likely to be true, then we can accept it. We can accept it. But even people like Madhvacharya, they can't accept certain of the things in Srimad Bhagavatam, like what was idea of Lord Brahma stealing the cow and poisoning cows, because it minimizes Lord Brahma. Or Lord Brahma chasing his daughter due to being physically attracted to his daughter. This, again, the head of our sampradaya, it's very difficult for them to deal with, so oftentimes they don't deal with it. But we can understand, at least we have the opportunity, Srila Prabhupada presented these things so nicely, to help us deal even with these very tricky and difficult points which others can't deal with. Yes, so, next time you drive up to Johannesburg, I assume we'll all drive up sooner or later, sometime or other. Or even if you drive around, around Lesotho, you know what I mean? From Harrisburg, go around to Senegal, and then go south to go to Cape Town, are you with me? Geographically. Then you get a lot of that, you get some of that also. These mountains, or, they're flat on top. Yes, so many people would, materialistic people would just not be able to deal with that at all. But for the devotees, they can deal with it. Anyway, whatever King Prithu here is being advised, you could say. You could say instructed, but it's more like advice because it's not speaking. Level the planet. How he's going to do it, I'm not sure. But anyways, parts of the planet are level. In the central United States, in this country, centrally to some degree. And in Russia, there are all these pretty flat areas, which they're very good for agriculture, as long as you get enough rain. If you don't get enough rain, nowhere's good enough. Nowhere's any good for agriculture. So it looks like King Prithu, maybe even, like central India, a lot of central India is flat. Although there are mountains here and there. So it looks like he didn't really flatten everything. But he flattened quite a bit. And those flat areas are excellent for growing things, as long as there's rain. If there's no rain, they turn into deserts. So yes, these things are discussed here. And we can just mention, regarding the mood of a devotee, like a good devotee, very straightforward devotee. There's the very famous story of Narada Muni and the cobbler. I'm sure you heard that story. Narada Muni and the cobbler, the shoemaker. You're familiar with that one? And the Brahma, the proud Brahma. You heard that one? Famous story. Narada Muni on the way to Vaikuntha meets a cobbler, and Narada tells the cobbler, I'm on my way to visit the Lord, and would you like me to ask him something from him? And the cobbler says, could you ask him, will I ever go back to Godhead? And Narada Muni carries on, meets one very proud Brahman, very ritualistic and so on like that. And he asks him the same thing, should I ask the Lord anything on your behalf? And the Brahman says, could you just ask him when I'm going back to Godhead? I know it'll be soon because I'm so qualified, but could we find out when? Because I want to tie up a few loose ends before I have to go. So Narada goes and meets the Lord and puts these questions to him. And the cobbler's question, will I ever go back to Godhead? Because he was a devotee. He's fixing shoes, but he's just chanting all the time. Just all the time. And the Lord said, he's such a sincere devotee. He's going to come back to me at the end of this life. But that Brahmin, even though I'm God, even I don't know when or if he'll ever go back to Godhead. And Narada was a little puzzled. And the Lord said, if you want to understand why I say this, when you meet them, tell them that when you were with me, I was busy threading an elephant through the eye of the needle. See how they react, and then you'll understand why I've said what I've said. So first he met the Brahmin, and he told him that, the Lord told me that even though he's God, even he doesn't know when you're going to go back to Godhead or if. And the Brahmin that became very arrogant and said, that can't be true. You can't have seen the Lord because I'm so qualified. He would have told you that I'm going in a week or a couple of weeks or something. So get out. And then he told the cobbler, oh no, and then Narada said, well, you know what the Lord was doing when I was with him? He was threading an elephant through the eye of a needle. And the puffed up Brahmin said, what? That's ridiculous. Elephant through the eye of a needle, that's impossible. You're a nonsense, get out. So then he went to the cobbler and told him, yes, the Lord says you're coming back at the end of this life. And Narada said, but by the way, you know what the Lord was doing when I was with him? He was busy threading an elephant through the eye of a needle. And the cobbler devotee said, really? That's wonderful. My Lord is so wonderful. An elephant through the eye of a needle, that's just great. And Narada said, you believe me? You believe this? And the cobbler said, sure. And he was sitting doing his shoe fixing under a banyan tree. And a banyan seed pod had fallen, was there on the ground. Seed pod, he just opened it and it's full of seeds. Just a little thing, like a couple of centimeters across or something. But there's hundreds of seeds in there. And the cobbler said, look, see, here, you see all these seeds? Each one is a banyan tree. It's just a little time separated. But effectively, you can say each one is a banyan tree. Hundreds of huge banyan trees. Each one is bigger than an elephant. So, to put one of these little seeds through the eye of a needle, no problem. So he actually understood how it could be that the Lord could be threading an elephant through the eye of a needle. And it actually made him very happy rather than make him angry. So, when we come across these types of things, which certainly will make some people think that this is just mythology and stuff, stupid old fairy tales. But the devotees know. The devotees can appreciate that our Lord can do anything, so whatever it says he does, he can do, no problem at all. And it's not questionable, but it's glorious. So Prithu was requested to break up the highland and the mountains and level the surface of the earth. He must have done it, at least to some degree. He must have done it. He wouldn't just sort of, not bother. He must have done it. And therefore, there are many flat or flattish areas which are good for agriculture. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Any comments? Questions? Loud and clear, please. My left ear is traditionally blocked. Can't be a problem.
So as you were talking, I was thinking about Table Mountain is flat on the top.
Oh yes, it's flat. I mean,
so maybe some more flat on this.
maybe. Or else more dangerous. Okay, yes, why not? Yeah. Going up there to 1972. Okay, thank you. Interesting. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. But you want to say something else? Okay. Do something. Put it down. There's someone else. Oh, there it is. No, there isn't. Okay. Should have called.